Alright, so with the KC Cup wrapping up and the World Championship qualifier just around the corner, it's about time for Konami to do yet another ban list. And as per usual, before a ban list releases, I like to do a little ban list prediction video to let you guys know what I think is going to be on that list and why I think certain decks are going to be on that list. So first things first, before we get to the actual ban list predictions, let's talk about the meta. And I have a lot to say about the meta this time around, because I spent a good portion of Saturday playing in the Duelist Cup. I played 105 games of Stage 2, this is all Stage 2 based, and I recorded all the results of my win-loss and the decks that I went up against. I ended up about 20k points with a 58% win rate, which was, at the time, like ranked 250-ish. So I think I have at least some sort of a good idea of what's currently going on meta-wise, so I have a good understanding of, what I'm sort of talking about, I hope. But anyway, most popular deck, Resonator by far. Resonator is just absolutely everywhere, it's just everybody's playing this thing. But something very interesting to note about this deck is, at least when I played against it, my win rate was basically 50-50. It's 18 wins, 19 losses. If I queue up one more game right now, find a Resonator player and clap him, it's literally 50-50. So I'm not super, to be fair, I was playing Floor. I don't think Floor is necessarily a winning matchup or anything, so I'm not really, I'm not super convinced Resonator is like, most people don't even consider Floor to be a top tier deck right now. I don't think it's even considered on like the top player tier list. It's not even considered in their tier list. So I'm not super convinced that a deck that isn't considered top tier is going even with the best, or the most popular deck, is a good showing of this deck being the best deck. I don't think Resonator is really that insane. It seems like it's good, but it seems really, really easy to tech against. If you're playing cards like Seravis, their entire end field is targeting, so you can basically choose what point you want to stop them dealing with your stuff. You can play things like stuff that can't be destroyed, like if a Lurus sets up a untargetable, indestructible monster, the Resonator player just, well, they can't get through it. All their stuff is removal. All their removal is just targeting, so all their removal is destruction and targeting type stuff, so they can't deal with that. There's a lot of weaknesses to this deck. Also, hand traps can completely obliterate it. Sometimes they get the absolute god hands where they can play through all your hand traps, but a lot of the time, maybe like at least 30% of the time, they'll get a hand where you just activate one Effect Veiler, and that's sort of their turn dead, which is really, like, 30% of the games being lost to a single Effect Veiler is a pretty big deal. Same with DD Crow, depending on the sort of setups they're going for. So I'm not super convinced Resonator is that insane. It's obviously a good deck, but at the same time, even with the top 100 results right now, or the top 100 rankings, you'll notice there's a lot of Resonator players on here, but there's a lot of other decks as well. Like, it's definitely a very, very mixed meta, and I think you'll find once this KC Cup concludes and maybe the World Championship qualifiers start, you'll notice that maybe Resonator drops down in popularity just because it actually isn't as insane as people might think it is. It's just I guess the flavor of the month right now. It just doesn't seem that insane to me, at least from my understanding. But maybe it is sort of a new deck, so maybe once people learn it a bit more, it'll become a bit more insane, but at least for now, doesn't seem like it's that incredible. Then we had Lurus being the next popular, and Hero. Both these decks I was completely shitting on. I think Lurus is like a soft Resonator counter. Like I mentioned earlier, they struggle with dealing with things that can't be targeted and things that can't be destroyed. Stuff that Lurus is especially good at making, so maybe that's why Lurus is seeing a lot of popularity, but against other decks, I don't think Lurus is necessarily the best option right now. Then we have Hero. The only way they sort of are playing right now is just by stuffing a bunch of floodgates in the deck. Otherwise, it's a completely dogshit deck right now in the current meta, so not really sure if that's a good choice or if that's just people just playing the deck because it was the most popular deck during the last format and people are still hanging on to it. Then we had Predant, Salamangreat, which is weirdly unpopular. I guess because, like, I'm pretty sure this is just because the deck is way too hard. I do think the last nerf to Salad did affect it pretty drastically, which is why, another reason why it's not that popular. I think losing one card from their hand is a much bigger deal than people lead on to being, so I didn't think the nerf was significant, but the deck is definitely still really good. Subterror, which I think is actually way better than people are leading on to being. Floor, Tri-Brigade, Dino, another deck that I didn't expect to see that much of just because tournament result-wise, there wasn't that many people playing it in tournaments. Even on my last tier list video, I definitely overreacted by putting it in tier 2. But I did think it was a good deck, but then I saw some tournament results and nobody was playing it, so I thought, oh, maybe Dinosaur is just kind of shit, but I don't know, maybe it's actually a decent deck. I do see there's at least one person, I think it was at like rank 30 or something, was playing Dino. There might be more on here, but I think there was someone around here. Yeah, there's a Dino player here, so there's some dinos in here, so who knows, maybe it's a decent deck. Gemini, Shadow, and then there's just a bunch of just random one-off decks, so that's the meta right now. So let's get into the predictions. So what do I think is going to happen to decks on here? Let's start off with the most popular deck, Resonator. So Resonator is a brand new deck, meaning the likelihood of them going harsh on it is very low. That doesn't mean they won't necessarily hit it, considering on previous ban lists, especially in the last couple of years, Konami has shown a trend where they do actually kind of hit newer decks sometimes. So even just last ban list, they hit the Salad skill just to make it a little bit weaker. That was kind of a bit of a new deck sort of hit. So I think Resonator, it is likely they'd hit something, but if they do hit something, it's gonna be a weird hit. So the one I'm looking at, I think Tuning Gum is probably going to go. I know it's a bit of a random hit, but like I said, I don't think this deck is actually as insane as people might think it is. And if Konami is looking for an excuse to hit Slang on this in this deck or ban Slang in this deck, I think Tuning Gum is a very good target for that, just because everybody or most people are playing it. It's a very old card, it doesn't kill the deck if you hit it, and it does at least apply some sort of ban to this deck or some sort of limit to it. So I think Tuning Gum is probably going to go to limit 1 just so they cut it from the deck, which I'm honestly completely okay with. I think most people are okay with that being sort of hit, and we'll add it to this little list here. But I was trying to think of things they might put on here, just because it's a new deck, they're not going to look to hit it too harshly, I doubt it at least. It doesn't seem like a tier 0 format or anything, it's very sort of healthy right now. So, but I guess if Konami does go hard on the other decks with all their bans and limits, it will make Resonator seem a lot stronger in the future, so I don't know. At least for now, I think Tuning Gum is probably on the limit 1 category. And other stuff, honestly, I don't really think they're going to hit anything else, because they put anything to limit 3. It competes with the Crimson Gaia, which I don't think they want to do whatsoever. They might even put Tuning Gum to 3, actually, because that competes with Gaia. It could be 1 or 3, one of the two. But yeah, I don't think they're going to limit anything else on here. Because if they limit anything on here, it's just going to be really, really bad for Resonator, which right now, although it's popular, it's not insane. It's also a brand new deck, so I don't think I want to go that hard. They might do some like weird soft hits that don't really mean anything, like Crimson Resonator to 2, which, okay, that means absolutely nothing. But I wouldn't put it past them, because that's just like they would do. Like, maybe they do Resonator Cool to 2. Something like that. Some sort of just, like, really soft nerf. Maybe that... I'll do that, actually, sure. Just maybe some soft nerf. So this could be Crimson Resonator. It could be, what's it called? Crimson Cool or something? Resonator Cool. Resonator Cool. I think there's a good chance this will see some Limit 2 action or something. I don't think there's going to be many... Just, the point is, I don't think there's going to be very many harsh hits to this deck list. Maybe they're going to target cards that are just sort of... Yeah, just sort of cards that exist. Alright, moving on. Salamangreat. So, Salad, as I mentioned earlier, already has received a sort of nerf through the skill, which was a much harsher nerf than people lead on to. And as you can see from just the top results, there are Salad players in here, there are plenty of them, but they don't seem to be doing that exceptional. There's a Salad player here. This could also be the Gemini skill, I think, or is that an Archive skill? I can't remember. But there are quite a few Salad enjoyers, or the Gemini skill. So this deck is maybe likely to receive some hits now, but again, I just don't think it's going to be that harsh. I think this ban list in general isn't going to be that harsh. There's a card that's definitely that has a huge chance to be hit though. Hallowed Life Barrier. This card needs to go. This card needs to go. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a forbidden card. I can't remember. I just want to check Hero real quick, because Hero has to play it as well. Does Hero play any limit 3s? They do, right? Hero has limit 3s. Does Salad have limit 3? Salad has limit 3. Yeah, I think Hallowed Life Barrier is about to be moved to limit 3 category. Either that or forbidden. Something's going to happen to Hallowed Life Barrier. This card needs to go. It has to go. This is so atrocious to play against. I don't think anybody like every single time this card is activated, it just feels like, oh, all right then. Guess we're passing the turn. And in decks like Hero or Salad, where if they get another turn with the amount of resources they generate through their skill, it just still seems so much more broken. Like, the skills are already fairly nuts, right? But the fact that they generate so many resources gives you a bit of a clock where you have to kill them now, or they're going to just overwhelm you on the future turn. So having cards like this that just makes it guaranteed so you can't kill them is a bit annoying. So I do think Halo Life Barrier is, yeah, likelier to go. It's not as it's like cards like Rainbow Life are fine because they don't protect the field as well. This also protects the field from being destroyed by battle. So I think the Life Barrier is either going to be banned, limited to 1, or it's going to be forbidden. So it's going to be limited 3. One of those categories. Does this deck play limit 1s? It does. Does Hero play? It does. I'm going to put Halo Life Barrier at limit 1, but there's a chance it goes to limit 3 as well, but I do think Halo Life Barrier is on its last legs. I don't think people are happy with this card anymore. But then we have, what else could they limit in style that would be likely? This would actually be such a drastic hit if they nerf this. If they put this to 2, maybe? That'd be a... What if they put this to 3? So it forces you to play only 2 circle and 1 of this. There's a lot of stuff they could just limit in here. Like, if they put any of these, like, Jaguar to 3, Spinny to 3... Spinny's kind of new, so maybe not Spinny. But they put, like, this to 3, this to 3, this to 3. All this is going to compete with Circle, so... It's kind of really hard to give you an actual prediction of what's going to be, like, a limit 3 in this deck. But I think they probably are going to put something to 3 just to compete with Circle, and it's going to be, like... Cut 1 circle, and that's sort of all the changes that are going to happen to it. I think this ban is going to be very, very light. So I think, I don't know, something on here is probably going to 3. Maybe the Jaguar. I don't know. It's not like, I don't think there's going to be much else on here. Maybe just put a Jaguar to 3 or something. I just don't think there's anything too harsh. Jaguar to 3... I just don't see this. There's nothing in here that can just do any solid hits in without making the deck feel a hell of a lot worse. They're not going to ban anything. They're not going to solidly put something to 1 to kick out like they did with the like they're not going to put Bison to 1 to compete with Gazelle in the same way they put the back-row mover to 1, right? They could do that. Putting Bison to 1 would be a pretty nasty hit, but I don't think they're going to do it. I don't know. I don't know what else is going to be hitting this deck. Maybe something to 3. I don't know. Maybe we'll come back to this one at the end. Predant. Okay, so unlike with the previous deck we just talked about, the previous 2 decks, this one isn't new whatsoever. In fact, it's pretty old now, right? When was this stuff released? October 2024. Yeah. This stuff is not old anymore. So the likelihood of Konami nerfing this is really high. Like, really high. So, what do I think is going to be nerfed in this? I'm pretty sure it's also very popular in just the top 100, at least fairly common. Let's have a look. There's one at rank 9, 12, 13, 21. Yeah, it's all over the place. There's another one down there, so... This deck, it's going to get some hits. Where exactly? Yeah... There's a lot of options with this stuff, because they've already got limit 1 in here on multiple cards to get multiple stuff out the deck. So they could just do limit 1s all over the place and just really screw with it. I think the easiest things for them to limit, especially this thing getting limited would be very nasty. Oh, that would be so nasty. It depends on how harsh they want to go on this deck and how much they want to kill it. I think they probably want to kill it just because it's very old now. Maybe a limit 1 on this dude. The issue also is there's no limit 3s in here yet. So maybe they do something like limit 3 on this, limit 3 on this. It also could be a case where they just nerf the skills in some way. I think this card's going to be on the list somewhere. Every list plays it at the 3 for sure, right? Yeah. Maybe they just do limit 3, limit 3. Yeah, I like that. Something's going to happen with this. This either goes to limit 1, or it's going to get limited to 3 alongside something else. So I'm just going to put that as my prediction for now. So, blah 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 lisp, whatever the hell this thing's called. Predant. I think their days are kind of numbered. This dude, and what the hell was the other card's name? This dude. I think these two are going to share a limit 3 slot soon. Yeah, I think they can share limit 3 slot. Either that or limit 1 with this, which would cut the Kaiju from the deck, which would be devastating. There could also be some skill hits for this as well. Maybe the Starving Venom Invasion gets the salad treatment of cutting 1 extra card from your hand, which is fairly devastating for a lot of decks. So just in case, I'm not sure they did both at the same time, but just in case they do, let's put a let's put Predaplant in the skill list too. I'll actually make a category for that. Actually, I don't think I'm going to do unbans today, so this is called on skills. So they might not do these at the same time, so keep that in mind. They might not do the full Predaplant limits at the same time, but I do think that there's a chance that these two are the most likely things they're going to hit. Alright, now the tier 3 section, it's not super likely they're going to nerf these stuff, especially considering popularity-wise. Gemini doesn't seem to be that popular. It's likely a lot of the salads in top 100 are actually secretly Gemini players, but yeah, it's hard to tell, right? So I think actually Joey's guaranteed to be Gemini. I think this guy got the Gemini skill too, right? So I'm not really sure about the I just don't think Gemini is going to be hit. This is no way, right? Nah, I think Gemini is safe. I don't think they can hit it. Gemini's going to be safe. Hero. Hero is 100% an old deck, and I think it's time for this shit to go. Because not only has everybody complained about it, but it's gotten even worse in terms of it's not as strong of a deck anymore, but in terms of its playstyle, it's gotten even worse, and there's even more things to complain about. Because the only way this deck keeps up in the current meta, as you can see from the 3 Necro Valley here, is they're now just playing Floodgates. Look at this shit. This isn't just some random list I clicked on. This is like, every list looks like this now. Billions of Floodgates in multiple different variations, all just try to draw off of your draw 4. It's cringe as shit. The deck can only be played with Floodgates now. That's the only way it functions, and it draws 4 cards to try to hit them. It's cringe. It needs to go. And yeah, the easiest things they can do is just limit the Floodgates, which I'd be happy for them to do. And in doing that would also make it so that the Stratoses and stuff would have a lot of problems. So these Floodgate traps, especially this card considering it's a rare, limitations wouldn't be something people would complain about. They could go harsher too, like Neos Fusion to 3, which would make it so that it's very hard to play. Try to draw into Neos Fusion, which would definitely kill the deck somewhat. They could go really hard on the skill, make the skill once per turn. There's a lot of things they could do, but I'm not sure which ones exactly. So let's just list a couple of them. So Neos Fusion to 3 is the obvious one, I think. Oh, Crosskeeper as well. Dude, Crosskeeper to 3 would absolutely kill this deck, and they wouldn't have to touch anything else, right? Like, that'd be it. The deck would be dead. There's no way you can play this deck with Limit 3 Crosskeeper. Oh yeah, I lied that. If they want to kill this deck, Crosskeeper Limit 3 would be perfect. So I think that might be what they look at. I think that would honestly be enough, but let's just put some other, like, potential things they might do. People are going to look at this ban list at the end and think that I'm saying they're going to ban all these at the same time. I'm just giving you a rough idea of what things they might hit, not they're going to hit them all at the same time, so keep that in mind. So, let's say maybe the skill as well might get looked at. Chance of that. Maybe they make it a once per duel. Maybe they make it so you lose cards in hand, or... How am I doing this? Hero... Alright, so if you see anyone in the comments saying they're not going to hit all those at the same time, make sure to correct them. This video is just showing things they might hit, not necessarily all at the same time. But I think the skill or this thing being limit 3 is super likely. Floodgates as well. Dude, they've been so, like, resilient on nerfing Necro Valley, despite there's plenty of searches for this card, so it had to be like a limit 1 sort of a hit. Would they hit Dimension Ground? It's only a random rare card for 16 years ago. Maybe. I don't think Konami likes this card. I'm going to put it in the number 1 section. That's going to get deleted. And I'll put Neos Fusion in here too. Just because Neos Fusion's been nerfed in the past, so I think it leads to Konami being more willing to put it back on there. But keep in mind, like I said, these aren't likely to happen at the same time. It's probably one or the other. So one of these two might get hit. Alright, that's enough for Hero. Lurus, another deck that's really old now. When was Lurus released? September. Oh yeah, this deck is it is in the firing line for sure. Especially considering, like I said in the KC Cup when I playing, it's incredibly popular. Second most popular deck from when I was playing against. Ladder Rise, I'm already seeing one at rank 89, 81, 49, 41, I think it's 42 as well. Not too many as you get higher, though. Deck actually seems kind of arse. It's a bit of a fake counter, I think. Actually, results-wise, it's looking kind of shit. It's looking kind of shit. From what I was gathering when we just completely shit-stomping it, maybe it is complete shit. Maybe they leave Lurus alone. Yeah, Lurus might just be left alone just because it actually isn't performing that well, result-wise. I wouldn't be surprised if they hit this because it's an old deck, but I'm just going to go based off of results-wise. It seems kind of shit, so... And maybe they leave it alone. Maybe they put this 2-3 as well, just to really tilt the shit out of everybody trying to play the archetype. God, that would be so depressing for them. They put this to 3 as well. That'd be so funny. That would make this deck so unbelievably bricky. Yeah, well, if they're going to hit something on here, it'll be that. I don't think they're actually going to do it, but maybe they will. King, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Just because the deck's old, maybe they will do something like this. There you go. Alright, moving on. Oh my god, that'd make this so bricky. That'd be so toxic for it. Alright, Subterror. This deck's brand new. I do suspect a lot of these skills, these little archive skills, are Subterror. So whenever you see an archive skill, there's a very high chance of it being Subterror. A lot of Subterror players, I think. So, that might even be the case that these two are both Subterror. Subterror looks really good. Subterror had a pretty big weakness, I think, in that Hero kind of crushed it, because they rely on one monster a lot of the time. Get super polyed, they kind of screwed. They had to put it face down for their first turn, which feels even worse, because then they can't Omni-negate. But I think now that Hero's fallen off, this deck is going to rise very quickly. So, will they nerf something in this? Probably not, honestly. I know it sounds kind of weird, but I don't actually think this is in the firing line in Konami's eyes yet. If they do nerf something, it'll be Pot of Duality, maybe. Like, Duality to 3 will be... This is an Ultra S, maybe they won't. They do tend to avoid Ultra Res all the time. Actually, was this card... This card's an old Ultra Rare, though, right? This dude. I don't know. Well, they don't mind limit 3ing Ultra Rares, that's for sure. So maybe Duality to 3 if they care for Subterror. I don't think they even care for Subterror though. Limiting 3 Duality would be so nasty for it right now. Because a lot of their playstyle relies heavily on getting the trap in hand if they're going second place, then get the dude on field to remove stuff. And if they don't open the trap, that feels pretty bad. They can't really go as hard as they'd like to. I wish they'd unlimit terraforming though. I wish this card was free. Yeah, maybe Duality to 3. If they hit anything in here, it'd be Duality. But I don't think... I think it's very unlikely to hit anything. But if there's anything, it'll be Duality, I think. It's not likely to even do this here. I'm just going to put this on here just for the sake of just putting something on here for them. But like I said, I don't think it's super likely. But maybe they do. Alright, and there's a couple of other decks to cover because there's one deck in particular that I think is very likely to be hit, and that is Fleur. Fleur and another one on here too. The Danglers. I think Dangle and Fleur are not likely to survive the next ban list. Fleur because it's old, and Dangler because it's an FTK deck. So I don't quite remember how the FTK works in particular. Is it still a catapult turtle bullshit? Let's find a dangler deck. I'm pretty sure it's just all catapult turtle type stuff, isn't it? Maybe it's not. What do they even do? Because they're all just FTKing. FTKing and various different floodgate vomit bullshit. It's even topping tournaments, man. I think this guy was actually trying to play properly, though. This guy wasn't FTKing. It's like guard dog and shit. Maybe ban guard dog. Was this one an FTK? No, this one was also just doing guard dog simulator. Screw the guard dogs, man. We hate floodgates here. I was trying to find the FTK ones. I was looking for a tournament result too. I think this is all the same player, is it? Oh no, it's not actually. Where is the FTK? Oh my god, how am I finding all the danglers not FTKing? I got FTK, the 2 losses I had to this was at both FTKs, so I'm trying to find the FTK lists. There's one, okay, so doing this shit. I don't even know what they'd hit to kill the FTK though. Something in here needs to be hit to stop the FTK. Maybe this dude. This guy's an ancient card, right? Literally, the first pack ever released, this man right here. Maybe it's time for Mr. Illusions to go. That would kill the FTK. God, the floodgate is so cringe too. Alright, maybe Guard Dog and Summoner of Illusions are the targets, just because they're just the cringe shit the deck's playing right now. Like, this isn't a meta strategy, but it's like this on ladder, this FTK needs to go. So something in the FTK is going to get hit. Maybe a limit 1 on Crystal Bell and Summoner of Illusions or something. This is the one that does the fat damage, right? I don't know, something in here is going to be hit, so I'm just going to put down Summoner of Illusion and Crystal Bell or something. Something to kill this FTK is going to happen. I'm not sure about the Guard Dog. I'd like them to hit it, but it's probably not going to happen. Let's just do this, though. And Winter Bell. Winter Bell's not a box card, right? It's just a... It's the wrong website. Winter Bell. Yes, it's a drop from a character. So it's not a real ultra rare. Something like that. Alright, and the final deck that I think will be hit is Fleur. So why do I think Fleur's gonna be hit? Because it's a very old deck, and despite what the TPC says, you'll notice in top 100 there is a lot of them. So maybe not this super high ranks, but we'll find them all in a moment. Hold up. Start off at rank 30, there's one. There's another one. There's another one. Another one. Another one, another one, another one. Another one. It's not super high ranked. This is top 100, so it's pretty high ranked, but there is a lot of them. And just from my results alone, where I'm sort of just having a positive win rate in current meta, and it just seems to be a deck that's still being played, it's very old now. It's going to be hit. What do I think they're going to do to it? Well, probably the most fair change to it would be a skill hit. But outside of skill hit, it has to be something like a limit 3 on these guys, just because, well, they're the only things the deck plays continually. But it's probably going to be a skill hit. So I'm just going to put a skill hit for this one. I think deck-wise, they might hit some stuff in the main deck, but the issue is there's so many different variations you can play of it that if they hit stuff in the main deck, it won't really affect the deck too much if they can just swap to something else. So I think it's probably going to be... Fleur isn't even a deck type on here. God damn it. Fleur. Let's just take this dude and put him in the skills here. Alright. Alright, so well, I do think I should need to put something on here for Salad. Because Salad is probably going to hit in some way. I'm just not sure how. I've already mentioned that they're going to be hitting the Wrath they were using, but that's not really the cards in here. Something on here is going to be limited to 3 or something. Something to compete with Circle, probably. They might do limit 1 Bison the same way they did the nerf with the previous thing, but I don't think so. I honestly don't know. I also don't play against this deck enough to know, because people don't play it because it's too hard to play. I don't play against it enough to know what cards are actually like... I think the hardest nerf would be Limit 1 Bison with Salad, with the Gazelle, but I don't think they're going to do that. Maybe it's just a Limit 3 on this to compete with the Circle. I don't know. Silence will be Limit 3, maybe. We'll just do that, just for an excuse to have Salad on here. To say that I tried to cover it. But something on Salad might be limited. I just don't know, so I'll just put that on here. Alright, so that's my banlist prediction. So as per usual, keep in mind, if you're screenshotting this and showing it to your friends or whatever, make sure to let them know. I don't think everything on here is necessarily going to be banned at the same time. These are just the things I think Konami might be looking at in particular. So, especially with like Hero, where I'm putting both of these cards and the skill on here, they're not going to hit all three of these at the same time. That's not going to happen. It might just be only Cross Keepers, the only thing they hit. They don't even bother touching the skill. That's sort of the stuff I'm looking at. But yeah, that's my balance predictions. Let me know your thoughts down below. Is there anything I missed? Any obvious takes that I haven't covered in particular? Let me know your thoughts down below. My personal opinion on the current meta is that I think it's very diverse and very healthy. You'll notice from the top 100, there are so many different decks in here. And like I said, from Resonator's win rate, it might be popular, but I don't actually think it's that insane of a deck compared to the rest. So I'm pretty happy with this meta. I don't think the ban list needs to go that hard on anything. I think it'd be a perfect Worlds ban list sort of meta already. But some of the older decks, I think they're really likely to hit. So mostly things like Predant, Fleur, and maybe even Lurus and the FTKs. Those are the sort of things that are likely to be hit. These sort of tech cards are likely to be hit. But in terms of like the actual art types, the newer art types like Salad and Resonator, I don't know if they're really going to go that hard on them, but they might. So yeah, like I said, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you see you in the next one. Laters.